Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the 4-to-the-7 podcast. This is a newly created podcast that will cover both the New York Yankees and the New York Mets heading into the 2026 MLB season that begins a week from tonight in San Francisco with the Yankees taking on the Giants. That'll be a Netflix game. And spring training's wrapping up. Both teams have their spring breakout games over the next few days. The Mets are tomorrow. I forget what day the Yankees are, but both teams released their rosters today. I just reposted the Mets one. I'll get to the Yankee one later on. I might have reposted it, but I don't remember. I know the Yankees prospects are playing the Braves prospects, but it's not on the actual schedule because it's not an actual game for either team, which is screwing me up. And we'll go from there. So I do have some updates from both camps in Port St. Lucie and obviously in Tampa. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have some notes. I have to redo the camera setup in here over the next few days. We'll start with the WBC. Because that concluded, finally, thank God. The WBC is done. For the second consecutive appearance, Team USA lost to another team. Last time it was Japan. This time it was to Venezuela. Congrats to Venezuela. I'm going to get that first off. Congrats to Venezuela. They deserve to win the tournament. They were spectacular. What a great thing for baseball. What a great baseball country Venezuela is and will be. They totally deserved it. They played with intensity. They played with grit. They played everything. They were very, very good. I just switched you guys a little bit. So if you see me looking up now, it's because I'm looking at my notes. They play with intensity and play with grit. Now, I made a comment at the bottom that ruffled feathers, and I'm going to explain why I did that, and I don't really care if people get mad. Real baseball is back next week. The WBC is an exhibition. It is merely an exhibition. Do you know why USA lost yesterday besides the offense being limp the entire night? They lost because they had to go to Garrett Whitlock over going to the better option, which would have been Mason Miller. Why? Well, manager Mark DeRosa said in his postgame, and I respect it. I respect DeRosa and I respect what DeRosa did and why he did it. He didn't go to Mason Miller because the Padres put restrictions on him. He couldn't go to David Bednar because the Yankees put restrictions on Bednar. In fact, the Yankees put stricter restrictions that were pretty much he cannot pitch unless it's like a dire need. The WBC, it's fun. And if the US won it, I would have been thrilled. Okay. But they didn't. Congrats to Venezuela, and because they deserved it more. And it goes back to the Aaron Judge clutch thing. I love Aaron Judge. I remember the day he came up. I will remember the day he retires. For some reason, he lacks the gene, the clutch gene, in big spots. Kind of like Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod was a regular season warrior, MVP on MVP. Obviously, A-Rod with the roids, but obviously Judge is doing it clean. And then we have the contrast in the postseason. Stuff like this happens. Now, Judge didn't make excuses. He said he was pissed and disappointed and whatnot. He didn't make excuses for himself. He didn't make excuses for USA's loss and for USA not playing well. But at the end of the day, it sucks because they went out low. They went out looking like they were flat. And the entire game until the 8th inning, they were flat. And then they go to Whitlock and he can't find the strike zone. Sanoa steals second. It's like Sanoa steals second. It's like, here we go. So that was the WBC. The one thing I hope, because I know Judge wanted to win this, And it's not like winning a World Series. His quote with the World Series was comparing the atmospheres. And my thing with that is he's probably right, because I'm sure coming back to Yankee Stadium down 2-0 to the Dodgers, and you're down 3-zip real quick in the first inning. Before you take it at bat, you're down 2-zip. 2-zip? 3-zip? Clark Schmidt gave up a 2-run home run to Freddie Freeman in the top of the first inning in the 24 World Series Game 3. So you're down 2 or 3-0 before you even take it at bat. Of course, that place is going to be like a morgue. So I kind of get it. Now, if the Yankees came back from Chavez Ravine and were up 2-0, and Clark Schmidt strikes the side out, and Soto hits a bomb in the bottom of the first inning, yeah, the joint's going to be jumping. It's going to be a similar atmosphere. And I can't say the same because I don't think it would be the same, because I think the atmosphere that the WBC projects is one of a kind. And I think that's a great thing the WBC does. And I think this is something that might drive him. I think he's going to try harder and harder and harder to win a championship. He knows what's being said about him. He knows everyone thinks he's not going to come through in a big spot. And I know Michael Kay said on the show today with the numbers and blah, blah, blah. But it was regular season numbers. I can't deny it. And in the regular season, that 3-1 pitch that he took down this plate in the 5th inning, Harper on first, he would have hit that a country mile in the regular season. But in the postseason, he was trying to work the at-bat and play small ball. I don't know if that was his direction. I don't know if one of the hitting coaches, Sean Casey, I believe, was the hitting coach. That's the way they wanted him to do this. I don't know. I'm not in the room. I was not in Miami. And I will also say this. Lone Depot Park is very big. It's a pitcher's ballpark. So that also could have played into USA's lack of offense in the final 2 games. Not excusing them. But Miami is a big pitcher's ballpark. Now let's get into real baseball. Max Fried was named the Yankees opening day starter. As of right now, this is what their opening day rotation is shaking out according to Fangraphs. It's going to be Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, and Luis Heel. We'll talk about the final 2. Max Fried has looked very good this spring. He gave up 3 runs on Sunday to Philadelphia. I put no stock in it. He looked fantastic in that outing, and there was a lot of bad luck in that inning, including some plays that should have been made by Jazz and some other guys on the infield that weren't. So I don't put too much stock in that. Cam Schlittler has been a stud the entire camp. Obviously, he got hurt at the beginning, He had some soreness, and he's rebounded, and he's looked phenomenal. I don't know if he's going to pitch like this the entire year. I hope he does, because I really like him. He's very confident. He is a guy that's very easy for me to root for. Very easy, I think, for Yankee fans to root for, because he holds himself accountable. If he sucks, he's going to say it. He's not afraid to talk to the media. He holds himself accountable, and I like that from him. I like the honesty and transparency, and he's been really, really good. Now, Fangraphs is projecting everyone in the rotation's ERA to be between 2 and 4. I think Max Fried's ERA is inflated. I do think Schlittler's ERA is inflated. I do even think Warren, and we'll get to him in a second. And I think having Fangraphs as a projection, I put it on here because it is good to see. But Max Fried and Cam Schlittler are aligned to go 1-2. Now, Schlittler is going to be on a limited pitch count because of his buildup, so I would not be surprised to see a Paul Blackburn or a Ryan Yarbrough piggyback him. And then Will Warren might get game 3, or they'll give it to Weathers. I don't know. Now, you have the off day before game 2, right? You have the Thursday off day. They play Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. Then they have the off day. Then they play the Friday game, which is on Yes. And then they play Saturday, which is on Fox, which will be the Dodger mascot and the boy who eats baseball, John Schmaltz, probably calling the game. And then you'll have Sunday an off day before they head up the coast to Seattle. So Max Fried will probably start 2 times on that road trip, which will also line Cam Schlittler up for the home opener, which is going to be cool to see. And then Ryan Weathers will probably pitch against his former team, the Marlins, Easter weekend, either Holy Saturday or Easter Sunday. And he is very religious, so that's something to watch. Weathers, I don't know with him. Part of it can be working on his stuff and his mechanics. The stuff is there, right? He has totally different issues than Luis Heel. Because for Ryan Weathers, he has the stuff. His stuff is really good. He gave up a couple runs to the Braves in the first inning. Yes, some balls got through because the infield was drawn in. He did hit a batter 0-2, which can't happen. And it was finicky, but it happened. After that, he didn't give up a run. He looked very good after the first inning. He made an adjustment. Against the Mets, he looked great in the first inning and then did not look good after the first inning and kept giving up home runs. He gave up home runs. That's something to watch. What's Ryan Weathers going to look like breaking camp? Is he working on his fastball, maybe using it less and using his other pitches more, and they're trying to test that out in live action games? Maybe. Are they working on his release point to make the pitch more deceptive? Maybe. I don't know. That's what they're doing with Heel, and I'll share that in a second. I have faith in Weathers because he can throw 100. And sometimes high velocity can hide bad stuff. But his fastball is good. It just gets hit. And that's a location thing. And that can be fixed. So I have faith in Weathers. Heel is a complete fucking mess. He's a mess. He can't find the plate. He's giving up bombs. He gave 5 runs before the game began. Before the anthem on Sunday, he gave 5. He gave up like 7 in the outing. He gave up a home run an inning. He looked lost on the mound. Lost. That's coming off the good start against Boston. No, he had another. He had the start against Philadelphia. He had 2 good starts back to back. The Boston start and the Philadelphia start. He didn't strike out many people in those 2 starts. His velocity was down in both those starts. And his stuff was missing. Was like he was pretty much living in the danger zone. He has had a hard spring training. And the Yankees really need to consider this with him. Is it time to move on? Is it time to put him in the bullpen where he can maybe max velocity and maybe maximize an inning? The good thing is they have so many off days the first month they'll be able to figure this out. They can go with a 4-man rotation the first 3 weeks. And if he stinks, they can use his minor league option. That's the projected rotation. The bullpen gets is even better for the Yankees. It's great. David Bednar, who was nails in the WBC, I have nothing but faith in Bednar. Camilo Doval was really good in the WBC. I believe I should have that clip I can share in just a second here. Let me get it up. He looked really, really good in the World Baseball Classic for Team Dominican Republic. I think, what was it, Sunday night he pitched? No, Friday night he must have pitched. I'm trying to find it. Here's Bednar in the WBC.
Bednar fires, Naylor pops it up, left side, as good as a strikeout right there for David Bednar. Bregman's got it one way. That is a huge out. I mean, huge. Now the 1-2. He struck him out. Canada's top 2 hitters at the plate, second and third, nobody out, and neither one of them able to bring in a runner. Payoff pitch. He got him. He somehow gets out of it unscathed.
The fact that he did that twice within like 2 games is impressive. He is going to be a big part of the Yankee bullpen. And I think he's going to thrive. Yes, he's a guy who last year was in AAA. That is the fact. He was in AAA last year for a little bit. There's no denying that because that is the fact, unfortunately. with that being said, I have tremendous faith. This should be Duvall.
The corners are even. He's going to bunt, drops it down, runner coming home, and he is...
Oh, no, that was not Duvall. I apologize. I have to start like labeling my videos with people's names. But it had to have been after that. But Duvall was very, very good in the WBC. Which is so... This should be it. Yep, here.
Too short for Domo. One away. To Abreu. Couldn't hold up. Wells tracks it down. Throws the first to complete the strikeout. 2 down. That. I don't know about you. I can listen to him talk about baseball forever. That's off Duvall. Machado there.
And he looked really good. He didn't give up. I don't even think he gave up a base runner in the WBC, which is impressive. Another thing that helped him out was having his own catcher, which is a benefit to the Yankees, actually. See, Austin Wells, who had a very good WBC for Team Dominican Republic, he had a fantastic WBC. And that's something that I'm really, really happy about for his development, that he was able to come up clutch and be around superstars like Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Vladdy Guerrero. Those were the guys he was around, and he was right in the middle of that lineup doing damage. He was very productive for Team Dominican Republic, and the fact that Camilo Duvall had Wells behind the plate for him is a good thing for the Yankees. It was a good thing for Team Dominican Republic because they knew each other and they were familiar with each other's stuff and style behind the plate or on the mound. But it was good for the Yankees because Duvall came in the middle of the year last year, right? And obviously, because of the WBC, didn't have a full spring training. But with his outings pitching to Austin Wells, he's still forming that relationship and familiarity with Wells and his catching style and what he calls and in the situation. These aren't, for Team Dominican Republic, those are those are World Series like games for Team DR, right? Let's say what it is. Team Dominican Republic, Team Venezuela, Team Puerto Rico, I can go on. Team Japan, I can go on. They played those games like life and death because for them it was. And I give them the utmost credit, and USA did not do that. I give them so much credit, it's beyond reproach. And the fact that Austin Wells was able to have a good WBC, and same with Camilo Duvall, and same Fernando Cruz did too. And he's the next on this list. And he pitched well today in exhibition. Tim Hill hasn't thrown a pitch in a couple of days. He should get into game action tomorrow, I'm assuming. USA should be back from from Miami. He's going to need to get into game action because he hasn't pitched in like a week. Jake Bird has had like a weird spring training. Like some of it's been great. Some of it's been sucky. We'll see. Paul Blackburn's impressed me. He's looked really good this spring. He has looked really, really good this spring. Ryan Yarborough has had a mixed bag. Some outings have been good. Some outings have not been good, including his WBC outing. It was horrific. But then he pitched for the Yankees the other day and was fine. So it's a mixed bag. And then Cade Winquist might break camp on the roster. And I don't think he should. Cade Winquist has had a very bad camp. And the Yankees are going to probably pull if he does break camp. We don't want to just give him up, let's see what he can do against major leaguers. Which, if you're trying to win games, that's not the way you win games. By pitching Cade Winquist and him blowing it. That's not how you win games. But there is a guy who should make the roster. I don't think he will, but he'll be up at some point this year. That if I were a betting man, I would place a big one on this. Carlos Legrand will be up at some point this year. He has been phenomenal. He was really good today in his outing against Boston, the 1-0 Yankee win. The Yankees are yet to give up a run to Red Sox batters. Obviously, they have not been the top echelon of Red Sox batters, but They have not given up a run nonetheless. Carlos Lagrange was very good today. He's given up 1 run in almost 14 innings of work this spring, walked 4, given up 6 hits, 13 strikeouts. So about a strikeout inning. He thinks he's big league ready. Austin Wells thinks he's big league ready. The Yankees want to keep him as a starter as much as humanly possible. Why? Because that's more versatile for them.
Runner goes.
Oh, hold on. That was Wells. This is
Got him. Nice.
The Yankees want to keep him as a starter as much as possible. But for 2026, he might be best used as a bullpen arm because they're weak back there. I just mentioned Kay Winquist is going to have to be a big portion of this bullpen. Paul Blackburn might be pitching the 8th inning at some point this year, and he might, if he is, he's going to look good doing it. There's a reality where Carlos Lagrange is pitching the 8th inning in the postseason for the Yankees on the road to hopefully a World Championship. He's that good. He is really, really good. And the Yankees need to do what they need to do and bring him up. Another one today, another good sign for the Yankees. Garrett Cole pitched today. I'll show that right now.
Ford bunts it towards first and immediately test stretch. Pulls a 1. Runner goes, throw down his second.
Throw some pitches that you're not used to in certain counts.
Sky high pop. Here's Randall Grichuk. 1 inning. Get some work in. 0-1. Oh. Runner goes.
I like the call, but guess what? Ball beat you there in spring training.
Get it into left field for a base hit. Hickey, the DH, rolls over it. Rice lunging. Can Cole get over?
That was all 10 pitches from his spring outing today, including the phenomenal play by Austin Wells to cap it all off. With the gunning the runner down at third, who's very, very fast. That was a great throw by Wells, and that's another good thing from Austin Wells. I'm happy with Austin Wells. But so far, so good from Garrett Cole. The real test will be the next few days. Let's see how he feels. Let's see how he rebounds and when his next start's going to be. But Garrett Cole rebounding from Tommy John. It was only an inning, but a scoreless one at that against a team he has struggled with in his career, minus Rafael Devers. All right, let's transition to the other side of town. All right, so right now, the biggest concern for me in Mets camp right now, easily, is Sean Manaea. I watched his start full through against the Cardinals last week. I did not watch the one the other day where this tweet is coming from yesterday, where this tweet is coming from Max Goodman. We miss him on the Yankee beat. He was phenomenal over here, and Mets fans enjoy him. He is a phenomenal writer, an asset to that beat. He pitched 4 innings, 4 perfect innings, 4 strikeouts, but his velocity topped out at 89. He didn't touch 90 today, the other day. His average fastball velocity set at 88.3. That's not a good sign. His average last year was 91.7. That is a bad sign. Now, you can say to me, well, look, he threw 4 perfect innings. Okay, cool. Against the Marlins. Okay, cool. Well, if he's facing in a big league game, in a big league ballpark, in a big league atmosphere, what's it going to look like? He didn't look great against the Cardinals. I wanted Mendoza to yank him and then bring him in a clean inning after he started getting base runners on with 2 outs. I think he got out of it. He gave up a home run in that outing. He hasn't looked tremendously sharp all spring. This is obviously a very good sign for him. But he's projected to be a big part of this rotation. Fangraphs has him as the 5th starter. And the Mets are going to go with a 6-man rotation because Cody Senga needs the 6-man rotation. It's going to be Peralta, McLean, Peterson, Holmes, Manaea, Senga. Are we going to be talking at some point this year that Manaea has to be put in the bullpen because of how bad he is in the rotation? Because if he's going to be a finesse pitcher, which he hasn't really been much of in his career, it's hard to sit below 90 on every pitch and be successful. So give him credit for at least being successful. But it's hard to do that on a consistent basis. So I don't know what to expect out of Manaea going into the regular season. That's going to be a tough one. And that's going to be a big thing to watch. He should have another spring start. I don't know what the Mets pitching plans are. They have not announced their pitching plans besides opening day being Peralta. I'm assuming game 2 after the off day Friday. So Saturday will be McLean. Sunday, I don't know whether it'll be Peterson or Holmes or Manaea or Senga. I think it's a toss-up between the 4. I will say Senga has looked very good this spring. That ghost pitch has been deadly. Holmes looked really good in the WBC. McLean, kind of a mixed bag in the WBC. One outing was really, really bad. The other outing was okay. Yesterday was okay. It wasn't horrific. He only gave up 2 runs in 4 2/3. On the home run, he probably want back. He probably want that wild pitch back, or else it's only 1 run in 4 2/3, and who knows? USA might have won the game because they might have run Miller for the save, but that's besides the point. He didn't crap the bed last night like other people in the city did. Peralta's the ace of the staff, and he's looked like the ace of the staff. The only question around Peralta is this his free agent year, or is he going to sign on the dotted line? That's the only question with Freddie Peralta. And David Stearns is negotiating an extension with him and his old agent. Peralta did change representation during the offseason. I don't know if that affects things. It's not Scott Boras. I don't know if it affects anything or not, but David Stearns has negotiated in the past with Peralta and his old representation. There's a relationship there. There's familiarity. So I don't know. And like the Yankees, for me, the biggest concern for the Mets, if we're breaking down the team into units, the lineup, which I think Carson Bench should break camp. I think going with Tyrone Taylor would be cool, but I think Carson Bench, you got to see what you got. And if you give him a month, if you give him, the last 4 days of March and the month of April, and if on May 1 he's hitting between, if he's hitting 230 or lower, you send him down. If that's what they want to do, then fine. I think they should at least he's had a very good camp. He's been on base all the time. He's always on base. You owe it to the kid who's had a tremendous camp trying to win this job. You owe it to him to at least let him start. And as he gets reps at the major league level, the training wheels will come off. Now, we saw this across town 3 years ago with Anthony Volpe, where things didn't go well. But the Mets have Tyrone Taylor sitting there that can come off and be the outfielder if they need to option him down. The Yankees were stubborn with Volpe and didn't send him down when he was struggling because they didn't have depth to bring up. Oswald Peraza was not good. Oswaldo Cabrera was playing the outfield because they didn't have depth. The Mets have a lot of depth. And Tyrone Taylor can play the outfield very well. I think Carson Bench should be given the right field job, though, to open up to break camp. That's my opinion. But the other part of this Mets team, the bullpen, is a weak unit like the Yankees. Devin Williams and Luke Weaver are both question marks. Luke Weaver was hurt last year. He's more of a question mark, in my opinion, than Williams. Williams pitching in high leverage for the Mets, what's that going to look like? I don't know. He was horrible with the Yankees last year in high leverage. He was horrible in the ninth inning. He was fine in the 8th inning. So what's he going to look like? He's projected to have an ERA mid-threes. Well, that's still higher than what his ERA was with Milwaukee. It's lower than what it was with the Yankees, but it's higher than what it was with Milwaukee. And the Mets are ill-afforded to blow big games early. Luke Weaver struggled last season when he came back from his lat strain. They rushed him back, in my opinion. He was back like 3 weeks after they said he was going to be out 6 weeks. And he kept giving up home runs, and he was horrible. He had a 103 ERA in the postseason. He got 1 out. Then you have Brooks Raley. Then you have Luis Garcia, Huskar Brazaman. Brian Hudson's on here, but that might be Dickie Lovelady since he's on the roster still, I think. And Tobias Myers, who they got in the trade back from the Brewers, who's going to be the long man in the bullpen. There's probably going to be a scenario where you have Tobias Myers piggyback Sean Manaea. So you essentially lose a reliever there. And then you go from there. Huskar Brazaman has had a very good camp and was very good in the WBC. He's going to be a good option. The key for Luke Weaver is keeping the ball in the park. I don't know what his numbers have been at Citi Field. And I'm going to get that up now because I feel like that's an important thing to mention here with Luke Weaver. Because I feel like last year he did struggle a bit. Luke, let me go to Baseball Reference. He struggled a bit last year at Citi Field. He always struggles at Fenway. He always struggles at Houston. Obviously, the Mets aren't playing. The Mets are not up at Fenway this year or in Houston this year, so that's good. But Luke Weaver has struggled in those ballparks. But he's been good this spring training. He's been good so far. So now it's going to be, all right, let's see. It's going to be what are they going to get from him in the regular season? I don't know. No, none of us are going to know until we see it. But I will say he has something. Okay. In his career, yeah, he struggled a bit at Citi Field. Let's see. He's pitched five and a third innings to a 5.06 ERA at Citi Field in 2 games. One was a start and one was out of the bullpen. 1 homer. Jeff McNeil hit that. 4 walks, only 4 strikeouts. That's not a lot. A wild pitch. A whip almost 2. Luke Weaver struggled at Citi Field. That is 1,000% something to watch going into the season. I'm going to pull up Devin Williams as well. I don't think he has. I think Devin Williams has actually been pretty solid at Citi Field. Obviously, bigger sample, a little bit probably bigger of a sample size for Weaver because he's been up longer. Let's see, ballpark game level. Yeah, 0 ERA with 4 saves and 4 1/3. Any ballparks that he struggled? He struggles at Angel Stadium. The Mets are out there this year. He struggled at Comerica Park. They are not out there this year. Rogers Center, you're up there. He struggled up at Rogers Center. Globe Life, I don't remember. But he struggled at Globe Life. And you also have to remember his ERA was higher on the road last year than it was at home, which is something totally to watch. He struggled at in Oracle Park too, and that was not with the Yankees. That's in a big sample size. He struggled there a lot. An 80 ERA and 5 2/3. He struggled there. But again, the bullpens for both teams can be fixed in the trade deadline, and the Mets have more depth, I think, because Jonathan could come up and pitch out of there maybe. They have Craig Kimbrell, who might break camp with the team. They have other guys in the mix. Like I said, Dickie Lovelady might break camp with the team. They have guys coming off the injured list who are going to slot into that bullpen. The left-hander who's, I think, slated for May comeback. That they got from the Braves a couple years ago. They signed him in free agency last year. I forget his name. But he'll come in and he'll help the situation, because if they had him last year, Jesse Minter, if they had Minter last year, they would have been much, much better in the bullpen than they were. They blew a lot of games back there. So that's definitely something to look at for the Mets, is having a big back end in the bullpen. And if they struggle back there, and if they struggle with closing, and if they struggle specifically closing with Devin Williams, what's their move? When Jesse Minter comes back, are they going to go to him to close the games? Are they going to look at Luke Weaver? What's Luke Weaver going to look like? There's a bunch of questions with the bullpen. And like the Yankees, more questions than answers. There is. Is Devin Williams going to be able to be clutch and save games? Or is he going to be like he was with the Yankees and blow every game, and it'd be like, this guy needs to go? I hope that we're not sitting here on 2 months from today, May 18th. I hope we're not sitting on this podcast on May 18th after the New York Mets play. Let's see who they play on May 18th. Why has MLB changed their app and it's horrible? Kodai Senga's going tomorrow as well. Okay, I have to switch that. I definitely like the other version. I hate the way they changed this stupid app. May 18th, the Mets. If we're sitting here on May 18th, right after the Subway Series, I didn't plan that. We're sitting here right after the Subway Series at Citi Field on May 18th. That morning, they're heading to Washington for a 4-game set and then down to Miami for 3. So if we're sitting there between 7 games against your division and 11 out of 14 against your division by extension, because then they come home, play the Reds, off-day Marlins. So you get Marlins twice within a week. So if we come back and we're sitting here after the Subway Series at Citi Field saying, well, Devin Williams blew a big game, Yankees win, blah, blah, blah. Devin Williams blew a big game. Devin Williams has blown 4 big games this season, and we're hovering, 3 over 5. Well, then we need to sit and have that conversation of what the hell do we do with Devin Williams? That's going to have to be a conversation. Right? Because at that point, we'll have had the sample size of San Francisco. Like I mentioned, he struggled there. They will have played the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine. They will have played the Cubs at Wrigley Field. They will play at a lot of the top teams in the National League. I don't think the Giants are a top team. They will have played the Dodgers. They will have played the Cubs. But they'll also have played bottom feeders like the Twins, the Nationals, the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks will screw around and be okay. The Cardinals, the Pirates, I think are going to be a solid team. The Tigers are going to be one of the best teams in baseball. The Yankees are going to be very, very good. And then the Reds beat them last year, which is after my date. But my point is, they will have had enough of a sample size against good teams that, hey, is Devin Williams struggling to save games against these teams, but is mowing down the Colorado Rockies with ease? Because they finished the Rockies on May 6th. That's it. Before they head off on their merry way to Arizona, they finished up with the Colorado Rockies. And then they start June on the West Coast. They have 3 West Coast trips this year. I know the Yankees have 2 or 3. They go to the Giants. They have 4. Because they go to the Giants, and then they come home. Then they go to Chavez Ravine. Then they go to Wrigley. And then they go out to Anaheim. That doesn't make any sense. Who the hell made these schedules? Both schedules are horrible. That's a nice 9-game road trip. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta in the middle of August. And they end the season against the crubby Nats. But that's enough of a sample size to say, is this guy good at it? Same with Luke Weaver. It's the exact same with Luke Weaver. And we also have to remember his ERA in March and April is 4.5. This is Williams. After that, it goes down. His lowest ERA month is June, 1.49. Then it goes up a little bit, down, and then up. Second highest ERA month is May, 2.97. So let's see what the Mets do with that bullpen. And let's see what the rest of camp brings for both these teams. But I'm going to end it. Both these teams have a lot left in camp. They have a week. A week from right now, we'll be 90 minutes away from first pitch. This is 6:27. I'm saying this. So about 93 minutes away from first pitch from Oracle Park. They have a week to figure their stuff out. Justin Shackles reported earlier that Boone indicated that J.C. Escar is making the roster for the Yankees. The Mets will have all those decisions. All that will be posted on social media when they do come out and stuff like that. Anyways, I want to thank everyone for watching and tuning in, and welcome to the 4tothe7 podcast. This is going to be a brand new podcast, like I said at the top, combining both the Yankees and the Mets. The whole episode down the bottom has been a ticker of where to find me and us on social media. Please give us likes and follows. Really, really mean a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.